The first winter flooding was due to immense amounts of rainfall between December 2013 and March 2014, flooding the rivers and coastlines. This also set a record at the time for wettest January on record in the United Kingdom. Just a year later, this was beaten by another series of floods from November 2015 to January 2016, which is proclaimed as the worst flooding since 1910. It is common for storms and consistent precipitation to hit the UK, but these events were particularly prominent outliers. In addition to the storming, in the early spring and late winter, snow and ice began to melt across the country, which added even more water to the flooding. Combined, the two flooding events consumed the entirety of the British Isles. The 1314 floods hit southern England and Wales the hardest. Then in 1516, the floods consumed Wales, northern England, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. Flooding in the UK is quite common, and about 1 in 6 people's homes are in danger of flooding in England alone. Experts agree that the severity of these storms and flooding events will get stronger, though maybe not as frequently powerful. Overall, the floods caused about 3 billion British pounds of damage to the British Isles. About 10,000 homes and about 5,000 businesses were damaged, costing around £600 million combined. Roads, airports, governmental buildings, and other infrastructure were also heavily affected. In the case of both floods, farmland was also destroyed. The flooding completely altered British life, causing most transportation to shut down, closing most businesses, of which 40% do not reopen, and damaging residencies. The UK government spends around £4.4 billion on flood defence. In addition to this, the UK's Environmental Agency claims it will need to spend an additional £1 billion per year moving forward. Part of the Environmental Agency's plan is to sustainably reduce flooding by planting more trees and putting anti-tilling legislation into effect. There are also some independent organizations looking for natural solutions, like rewilding the landscapes and creating leaky dams made of tree branches and trunks. Much of the previous resistance to flooding were dams and walls, but those are struggling to be effective enough to hold back the most severe storms. Part of the government's initiative moving forward is building more flood-conscious housing in at-risk areas. Moving forward, it is presumed that climate change, specifically the warmer temperatures that come with it, will make flooding periods more severe. In fact, the UK is set to receive a 10% increase in annual rainfall by the year 2100. In addition to rainfall, sea level increases are a danger to coastline communities and national groundwater resources. Overall, by 2080, the cost of flood response could cost 15 times more than it currently does in the UK. Overflowing sewers, transportation disruption, and farmland destruction are also in the mix as some negative effects of increased flooding due to climate change.